When it comes to editing, I use CapCut. You can get it for free, but I've got the premium version because I want access to all of the settings and features it's got from me. Now, I'm not going to do a full-blown tutorial on how to use CapCut. This series is all about how do I use it. So I'm going to jump in and show you a video I just recorded, and very quickly, what would I do when I start editing? And believe me, there are loads of things you can do, but I just want you to understand how I do it. I'm inside of CapCut. I'll pop up an image of what the cost is. Look, you don't have to pay for it. There's other tools out there. And I see lots of people telling you to go and use Descript or other things as well. I really like CapCut. I'm not affiliated to them. I'm not going to tell you go and buy it and I get commission or anything like that. I just like using it because it's pretty simple, easy, and there's tons of tutorials out there as well. So when I open CapCut, I will come in and I will create a brand new project, or I may use an existing one. And what I'm going to do is go over to something called new. I'm going to right click it and I'm going to duplicate, because what this actual video has is some of my assets. And the assets I'm talking about are the intro and the outro. So my outro is where, you know, I'm saying, hey, come and hire me, go and look at my courses and stuff like that, and the music. And my intro is the one you've just seen where you have the screen come up, the web squadron, and the do noise, or however it plays. So there's my copy. I could right click and rename it. For the tutorial, I'm just going to leave it as it is. I'm going to double click and go into it. Got my intro and I've got my outro. I'm just going to pick up my intro and move it. By the way, normally this is already set up. I've intentionally moved it to the end just to show you how easy it was for me to pick up the footage, which is just an image. And then I've got this music down here. If I feel like the music is too loud, and I'm going to pop my desktop audio on, so hopefully you will hear this. If I go like this, that's quite loud. So if it's too loud, I can drop the volume down a bit. So that was lower. I could go in and go to the basic and adjust the volume over here as well. See, look, you can look at the volume. It's gone orange now. That's way too loud. In fact, let me just play it for you just so it breaks your eardrums. So what I will do is I will go in, just make sure I've got my intro and my outro, and then I will go and import my media. Now, you can click import. The way I like to do it, and this is me now just being super, super lazy, is if I've just recorded a video like what I've already done, and it's this video over here, I'll just pick it up and drop it in like that. And then I'll go and position it to be after the intro. And there you go, my video's in. If I need to add in another one, I can add it in. So now I've added in a duplicate of what I had before. So I'm just going to highlight it and hit delete, or right click and hit delete. So it's really easy for you to add. So if you need to import from, say, you've got another separate hard drive or your own hard drive or your downloads, or your desktops, wherever it is, just do it. When I do OBS, if you watch the previous videos, I like to just record and I have them sent to my desktop. So I've got everything there. It's quick and easy. I don't have to jump into any other folders. Right. This is the exact process of what I do. So this is now of the yesterday's video. This was me just getting ready. As you can see, look, I'm adjusting myself and just sorting out my seat and start talking. This is the exact process I do. Okay. I'm just going to slim this down for a moment. If I go to the end, there is my outro with the music. So if I play that, you'll hear that. I'm just going to extend it again. So let me just go through the steps, okay? Because I always feel like I talk too much here. I will click on the footage. In fact, where have I gone? I've disappeared. There I am. I'll click on the footage. And I will go to text at the top over there. I will go to auto caption and I will click generate. This can take 20 seconds, 30 seconds. This video is 35 minutes long. So it's probably going to take, give or take, close to a minute. I'd actually talk nearly 2 minutes. You can see the time in the top right over there. So I'll probably, when I'm editing, you'll see it anyway from the point when I started to how long it took. Anyway, that's now gone and created captions, and you probably can't see any because I wasn't actually talking at this point over here. So if I move here, you can now see my captions have come in. If I go and extend this, I can now see the words. Now, the reason I like to do this is I'm not going to do it for this particular video, is I can now, you know, when I'm editing, if I'm trying to find a moment, it's great. Or if I go and click captions, I'll see all my captions. And if I suddenly go, I know I got it wrong and I want the video to start here, or I want to find this particular bit where I mentioned 2K quality, I click it and it will jump to that precise moment. So I can see my wording, my visuals, and I got my sound. I can, again, I don't want this to turn into a CapCut tutorial, But if I go and do extract audio, it separates the audio out. I don't want to do that. I'm going to merge it, but I could do what I want. But anyway, I like to have the captions on so I can see what I'm doing. Now, before I do anything, I'm going to jump over to this part of my video, okay? And I'm just going to hit Control or Command B. And what I've now done is slice it. And I can now click that and I can delete. There are shortcuts. You can click on your keyboard to delete to the left or to the right of where you did this slice. I can't be bothered. I've just hit delete, right? The button's right there. Why should I bother with going, right, now I'm going to do Control, Command, or whatever. Oh, forget that, right? I'm just going to hit delete button. You do have the option over here to split as well. But again, this is not a CapCut tutorial. I've done tutorials in the past and there are loads of things you can watch. This is about how I do my editing. So I will have gone in and I will have created my captions. Then I will click my entire footage before I've gone and deleted anything out. And I know I just deleted, but I did that to just show you, all right? I've now highlighted all of my footage. I will go over to video and I will go to, no, sorry, not video. I'll go to adjust. And then I'll decide based on what I can see on screen, do I need to correct it? So here is me doing some color correction and I might put it down to 10. And you're going to look at that and go, there's very little difference, but there is a bit of brightness going on there. I could even do an auto adjust as well. And I sometimes, like in the past, depending on the camera, I might have gone with something like 30. I've now realized though, that when I was editing on this screen, I didn't notice how orange it was making me look. So I don't like to do the auto adjustment. If you are using the DJI Pocket 3 Osmo camera or something where you've recorded in D-Log, this is where you would apply a LUT. So when I'm doing my Osmo, I apply the indoor day cube like that. It does not look good on me right now, and that's because I didn't record. My Sony's not using D-Log. But if I wanted to, I could also apply different shade colors. Can you see how it's changing the color of me and the background? Can you see what it's doing there? It's like it's making colors pop a bit more, the blues and the oranges. Anyway, so I will have gone in and I might have done color correction. Not always, but sometimes I do. If I want to adjust it anymore, I can do. I don't bother, okay? If I want to sharpen it, change it, I can, but I don't. Then I will go over to the audio and I'll check the audio, so I'll play it. There are many tools out there, and I'll decide, does that need to be lower or higher? And when I move back over here, I'm still talking, but it's not as good. So what you'll get is like a drop in your sound. So what I'll then do is hit normalize loudness. This takes about 20, 30 seconds, right? You click it and it basically, if you've got volume like that and volume like that, it does that. And then you just want to listen to it and then you might go, right, now it's stabilized it at a good point. Now I want to increase my volume a bit or not. If you've got very short footage, so less than 15 minutes, and you were, say, out and about, and there was like cars driving or birds chirping away, or there's people, you're in a cafe and there's people talking, you can hit enhance voice, and that will enhance your voice. And it will also get rid of any pop, 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 pop sounds as well. Pop. Okay. Stuff like, you know, whatever sounds. And you can also hit reduce noise. Reduce noise, that takes like 5 seconds sometimes to do it through the entire video. And that's what I might do. I'm not doing it here because I don't need to, but I would just click them. Then what I do is I just go through and I go, right, I don't want that bit and I don't want this bit here. I'll get rid of it and I get rid of that bit of text and maybe I'm going to cut out. There's a bit of a gap going on here. So I'm going to get rid of that gap there. So let's now hear in the process, right? So there was like, I mean, I should have showed you that. I didn't do it properly, did I? Let me just show you. And did you notice there was a bit of a pause there? Listen. And right now you might say that's okay. If I get rid of it, YouTube, and the process, I've eliminated that little split second gap pause. So I'll go through edit, right? You get to the end, whatnot. Now let's pretend there's a point. Literally, that's what I'm doing. I will go through. I mean, I didn't do loads of settings, did I? That's all I did. Now, there may be a point in the video, though, where I go from big to small. I'm going to find it. So in this part, I'm small, and then I become big. So what I'll do is, let's just say I stopped talking at this bit over here. And the next time I talk was, let me just get to this bit here, right? I will eliminate everything that sits in between. I will go over to transition. CapCut has so many effects and filters and stuff, and I feel like you don't want to get lost with too much. Just do what you need to do. I'll type in pull, and I will then look for pull in and pull out. Pull in means it makes you bigger. Pull out pushes you away. So in this scenario, I've gone from small to big. So I'll use the pull in effect, and I'll drag this over here like that. So now when you watch this on my overlay, you're probably watching. Did you see that? Let me just do it again on my overlay. You're probably watching, right? So whenever you've seen videos of me where suddenly I go from big to small or small to big, that's the effect I'm using. It just comes packaged part of it, right? And at any point I want to add in some extra text, I can drag the text in, I can change my font size and all of our animations, even the way the text look, background color, rounded borders, whatever you want to do. If I want to go over to my media, maybe I've got this bit of image over here, I'm going to drop it on top. So as I'm talking, I like to use OBS. The image is now over me. I can shrink this image down if I want, blah, 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 blah. Look, when I come to editing, I don't like to faff around too much. But once I've sliced away what I want, and I'm using Command B, you can use Command B or you can hit the split button, and then I just hit delete like that because it's dead easy. Once I've got to the end of my footage, like over here, follow, I'll see you soon, which I will in a moment. I'll eliminate the gap over there. Maybe I want to be particular about how far it starts. I'll see you soon. Like that. And then my music kicks in. Once I've done all of that, and sometimes editing can take a while. It might feel like, you're jumping around everywhere, but when I come in, I just want to get my captions on. Then I will go, I don't want to see the captions. So now I'm hiding them completely out of view. So if I was to click this would now eliminate the sound. I could still record the footage, but there's no sound. But maybe I've got lots of different sounds. So take this one when we get over here. This is now the sound that plays at the end of most of my videos. If I want to have a lead in as well, let me just show you this, okay? I'm going to extend my sound, okay? So because my music starts halfway through the actual track, it's at a certain point. I'll see you soon. There, that boom beat, right? So what I'll do is I'll go to my track there, and I will just hit the Command B to split my audio. But this one here, I'm going to drag this in, and I'm actually going to make it be a little bit quieter as well. So what happens is, just listen. I hope you like, subscribe, share, and follow. Can you hear it leading in? And then it comes in a bit more. So that's how I've done that as well. It's dead easy. You just stitch away, add bits if you want to add bits or not. And then the most important bit is when it comes to exporting. So I'll give it a title. I will send it to my hard drive, 2 terabyte one I got there. And then I will select the resolution and the bit rate as well, and what codec I'm using. So if you have not got a 4K camera, most likely you are probably going to have it set like this, 1920 by 1080 recommended, and you'll probably go for either H.264 or HEVC. H.264 is pretty good to do. Just use that. Your frame rate, you leave that as it is because it normally detects it for you, and that's it. And it will then export. The great thing is it tells you the duration after you've edited and how big that's going to be. So can you see that is 3 gigabytes at the moment? If, however, you were to go for, say, 4K quality, it now jumps up to 6.42 quality. But here's something I just want to make a point of, okay? If you have, let's just leave it on 4K. If you were to just leave it at the recommended value, that might be slightly below the quality of what you recorded. So when I'm using the Sony camera, I will actually go for a custom. So if I go for higher, it goes to 862. If I go for custom and I put it at 65,000 kilobytes per second, because that's what I'm getting out of Sony, it jumps up to 15.96 gigabytes. So I've just jumped up massively. And you might say, why? Well, a lot of people are watching videos on TV screens now. And I cringe at the quality of some of my videos from like 6 months ago, let alone 4 years ago. The quality there was atrocious. Anyone watches a video from 4 years ago on a screen, they're going to switch away. It's like going from 4K quality back into pre-high def quality on that size screen. It just looks awful, right? You know, when you watch a really old program that's not been upscaled or remastered, you kind of go, oh, it's not great. Haven't we got a 4K version? So I will go for 65,000. If, however, I am using footage from my DJI Osmo Pocket 3, I will again go for 4K, but I will change this to be 115,000. And that then jumps up to 28 gigabyte, gets even bigger. But here's the thing I really want to point out. I am using a Mac Mini M2 Pro. This has got hardware shit on it that can boost the quality of what I got. If I've got 422 quality footage from my Sony or my Osmo, right, I will be going for 4K quality, but I will not be using the H.264 codec. I will be going for the Apple ProRes 422. I don't go for the 422 HQ and I don't go for the 444 because I find that they are quite hefty, big, massive. And when it comes to uploading to YouTube, it's a pain watching it upload. And it's like, 1%. An hour later, it's like 2.5%. You go, oh, flipping out, this is taking ages. If I go for 422 quality, right, and you can't select anything but recommended, look at the size of that now. That's 155 gigabytes. If I had a video that was a minute long, that would probably come up to close to a gigabyte. If I was to go for 422 high quality, it's 230 gigabyte. And if I go for Apple ProRes 444, which I know this camera is not recording in, it will be 345 gigabytes. So you can really boost up. And what I do is, if I've done a video where it's like how I am now, where it's mini me, I will just go for, where are we? H.264. I'll do that and I'll make sure I've gone and set my custom to be usually 65,000 like that. And I'm happy with it. If, however, I've done a video where it's just me on screen, so it's just me talking, I never ever shrink myself down, then depending on the size of the video, I will sometimes go for 422 quality because I really want to get the maximum resolution out of it. Just a bit of advice there, because loads of tutorials focus on how you use it, how you slice, how you stitch, move things around. They don't focus a lot on this. So I would always say, get a good understanding of your camera or your smartphone or whatever you're using. Understand the kilobytes per second if you are recording in 1080p or 4K. And then when you come over here, make it be that. Because if you just go for recommended, right, 642, can you see the difference there? But my quality is 65,000. So why would I not want the 16 gig? I mean, that will make a difference. And on some monitors and screens, you will notice, seriously, you will slightly notice it, but that's me just being picky. I hope that helped to share a bit of insight on how I like to use CapCut. I don't like to faff around with too many features or sticking things in. Now and again, if I've got loads of time on my hand, or if I was only ever going to do one video a week, I would probably spend a lot more time. But like, I kid you not, I already have 4 videos I need to edit today by the time I finish recording this. So I've got to get on with it. I'm Imran from Web Squadron. Take care. I'll see you soon. Bye.